No, that is the beautiful thing about being an SDR in a tech firm. You can go anywhere in the business, and there's so many avenues to go down. But what I think I would be.
So MQ, great to have you on the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Who are you and what do you do?
Of course. My name is MQ, of course. I am a business development representative, or SDR, sales development representative at Xurrent.
Xurrent, amazing. So I know you very well. So for the listeners, probably don't know, you actually interned at Entr Tech. We'll get into that. So yeah, I guess tell me about yourself. Like, take me back to your school days. Did you know what tech sales was? I know personally that you weren't sure what tech sales was when we first met.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how did you end up to where you are today? Talk me through your educational journey.
Yeah, so I grew up all 18 years in Vietnam.
Nice.
I went to international school in Vietnam, so I actually studied the British system, went through GCSEs.
Yeah.
Didn't do A-levels, I did IB.
IB.
But then, came to the UK, went to Warwick, studied business there. Came out of Warwick not really knowing what I wanted to do. Honestly, the time at Warwick, I mean, it was kind of interrupted by COVID itself, but time definitely flied.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm not sure what I did there, honestly.
You were quite active though was it the entrepreneur society or business society you were telling me?
Honestly, I was more active in the socials rather than the academics.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is like that. Sometimes uni, for someone coming from abroad, uni is like that. It's the environment, it's the people that you surround yourself with. And that was very much what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, coming out of uni, again, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Did an internship here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But in my 6th month after graduating, I came across Entr Tech on LinkedIn. It was a job board on LinkedIn, I remember.
Yeah.
It was for it's
a marketing position, wasn't it?
Exactly. It was a marketing position. Growth lead.
Yeah, it was.
Was the name.
And he did very well.
Yeah, growth lead was the name.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, we'll jump into that. I want to take it back to your uni days, I guess, what you studied.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know what you wanted to get into when you graduated? Because a lot of people, sounds like you did uni the right way, because a lot of people think, is a university degree worth it?
Uh-huh.
And I think it is if you're, going and studying something that's going to get you a job on the outside, or you do what you did, right? And actually go there for the social aspect, build up your network. So I think people can go into two camps, either the social side or the academic side.
Yeah.
Sounds like you did really well, building out your network, and pretty cool if you're coming over from, an international country to meet people and get amongst it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know what you wanted to do? Like going out of uni, so you graduated before you came across Entr Tech, like what kind of internships were you doing? What were you looking at? Because I remember, was it management consulting you were looking at?
I studied management, just business, very, very standardly at university. And with a business degree, it's what you can pretty much do anything, but at the same time, you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
You really have to follow the standard process. Well, you don't have to, but people generally follow the standard process. I applied to consulting, finance, accounting, the big corporate firms.
Yeah,
the
big four, yeah.
Exactly. And of course, if you're not on top of that since second year, first year, if you don't do your spring internships, which I didn't, if you didn't do your summer internships, which I didn't do either.
Yeah.
Then you're at a big disadvantage. Mm-hmm. So coming out of university, I was already at a very big disadvantage. But I mean, I didn't. It's not like I put myself at that disadvantage, but at the back of my head, I knew that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah. It's quite funny how the university system, they push you down, especially from a business degree, they push you down KPMG, Deloitte, EY, the big four, accounting, firms, that kind of vibe. But actually they don't really set you up for anything about the tech industry or startups. Especially my business school. So I think why we connected was, you mentioned you wanted to work in a sort of dynamic environment in sort of startups that was tech enabled. So I guess innately you must have felt that sort of way inclined to tech.
Definitely. Coming from university, you're in an established institution, and the logical thing to do after that is to join another established institution, which is KPMG's, which is your Deloitte's, which is your consulting firms.
Yeah.
But it takes risk, and it's definitely down a different path going into tech. There are no positions right outside of university where you can enter straight in with just a college degree for the world of tech. You can't. Well, the job I currently have, I couldn't get this job straight out of university. It was thanks to Entr Tech. It was thanks to the many little internships I did to build up my experience.
Yeah.
Definitely. Which got me the job.
Yeah, and I guess like advice for anyone watching that's looking to break into tech, I think any work experience, any internships you can do really make you stand out on your CV, on your LinkedIn, and gives you something to speak about when you're going to these interviews. So yeah, I mean, Entr Tech, you came and was super, helpful to me personally as an intern, and hopefully learned a lot on the way. Talk to me about like the interview process and what swayed you down the SDR route. And I mean, was it the financial rewards? Because for most people it is. Like, what made you think actually, you know what? Because I remember we had this conversation. You're like, Jack, I'm marketing at the moment, but I really think I could do the SDR job. And yeah, I think you obviously listening to loads of calls with students and companies that we were speaking to. So what made you think actually sales? Because sales gets a bad rep, so people like think I can't do sales. Yeah.
Sales gets a bad rep because of the traditional stigma towards it.
Yeah.
Car salesman, door-to-door sales, and whatnot. But tech sales is so different. It's tech sales nowadays, right? It's all about the product itself. It's all about the solution itself. It's genuinely fit for purpose, and you're not a salesperson. You are merely connecting people who need something, a solution, to the solution you have. And if you're working for a really good firm like Xurrent, I'm very lucky to have joined Xurrent at a really good time as well.
Yeah, really.
But it's all about the tech. It's all about the solution. But wait, what was your question again?
I was thinking like what made you think about actually going down the tech sales route? Because I remember you were very into the creative side of marketing, videography. So what made you think actually, you know what? So when we had a conversation, you're like, Jack, start putting me forward to roles. And I was like, okay, cool, he's on.
Yeah. The people aspect. What I did at Entr Tech was I interviewed a lot of candidates. I spoke to a lot of candidates, very like-minded people who like to talk. Yeah. Right. These guys like to talk. They like to yap. Yeah. But they're confident. They're driven, and I'd like to believe myself to be so as well. And I felt that, this is kind of my energy. I kind of fit in here, and I think that I could mold into this role pretty well
100%.
as well. And what I did interviewing, I also learned a lot from my interviewees. Yeah. Right. I learned from the answers. Yeah. I learned from their drive.
And so like certain paths as well, some of them were like coming out of uni and you probably thought actually see myself in that person.
A lot of it was people not coming from university at all, coming from completely different backgrounds, but still having the same drive and still having the same hunger. Yeah. But, there are also people who are very switched on, who know what's going on and who they know what they want for themselves. Yeah. And they know what they're good at as well.
Yeah. Good stuff. I'm so excited to dive into your current role today, what you're doing at Xurrent. Like, tell me about Xurrent. They're a fintech, right? I was doing a bit of research before. I was trying to figure out, is it an accounting software? Is it like a blockchain software? What is it you guys do?
It's an IT service management software. So it's within IT. And Xurrent is it's very unique. And this industry I've joined is very, very unique as well. Because when you talk about tech sales, it's been around. The term tech sales has not been around for very long, has it? But the industry itself that I'm in, the IT service management industry, is a beast. It is a mature industry. You've got, it's over 40 years old, right? It's not like, way back in the 1900s or whatever, but it's mature. It's 40 years old in terms of like the tech industry, because IT has been around since forever. You see your Windows, 98 computers. That's
Yeah.
kind of like visually, that's kind of what I
So
draw to.
hardware as well.
Not exactly hardware.
Not hardware.
It's software,
Yeah.
but just the industry itself is very, very mature, and so I think it's quite unique in terms of tech, the world of tech, really.
So
Just the IT itself.
Not to get too into it, but like, what does the service do? Not to be on the spot, but like,
Yeah.
in a nutshell, like, what's the elevator pitch?
So I guess what I describe it as is so every organization internally, they communicate. Every employee needs services for them, HR services, or let's say, a very typical example is if your laptop is broken, you need IT services for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you need an advance in your payment, or you need anything related to finance, anything related to HR, or anything else related to IT, then where are you gonna get the service? If the IT person or the person internally is sitting next to you, then you can pat over their shoulder. But
Sure.
what if they are time zones away? What if they're like half a globe away? How are you going to get these services efficiently? And that's what IT service management is.
Nice.
In a nutshell, it's receiving services, essential services,
Yeah.
in order to function as an employee,
Nice.
essentially.
And you're picking out like corporate firms, SMEs, like what kind of market are you going after? Is it people in the UK? Are you doing international like prospects? Like how are you getting out there?
So I started in the UK. So my region was UK and Ireland, and I was taking inbounds there, but also cold calling outbound in the UK. But at the moment, I am focusing on Benelux and Nordics. I've moved regions essentially.
Nice. Wicked. And how big's the SDR team there?
The SDR team there. So we have a team in EMEA.
Yeah.
Well, just in the London office, there's three of us. And in the States, there is 2 people.
Cool.
So 5 people across the globe.
Nice. Okay, great. And you mentioned like it was quite a good time to join, and obviously people listening into this probably won't understand the different stages of startups, seed, series A, B, C. But like, why is it such a good time to be part of the company? Are you guys growing in certain segments, or like, is it the people dynamic?
Yeah, it's growing very fast, and it's a very disruptive technology as well. It's a solution that's disruptive in a very mature market.
Nice.
And that's why it's very exciting to join. And the technology actually does speak for itself.
Nice.
It's very good tech. Yeah.
Probably makes your job easier as an SDR as well.
You'd think so, but no, it doesn't. Absolutely does not.
Yeah, let's go into that as well. Like, tell me about like the challenges of being an SDR. Also the perks, right? Because there's a lot of perks that go with it. Like, are you hybrid? Or like, what kind of benefits do you have as an SDR? But also, like, what are the day-to-day challenges? I know when we came in, you said you've been busy, and I've been there as well. And so, tell me about like your day-to-day 9 to 5. What are the challenges? What are the benefits of being an SDR?
The thing I've liked the most so far is being able to run my own days, essentially my own weeks. I have calling blocks I set for myself within the week as well. There are some days I don't call at all, and there are some days I hit like $200.
Really?
Actually, maybe not 200. Like 100 to 150 if it's like a really, really hard day.
Really? Nice.
Right? But you run your days by yourself. Obviously, depends on how your team is structured. But I do get a lot of freedom myself, and they do trust us to run our days as long as we are able to hit our number and we're engaged. The freedom, it's 3 days in the office as well, 2 days from home. So really good, dynamic kind of work environment there. But with the SDR position itself, with the kind of the meat of the job itself, right? You are trying to get people's attention who, have very little attention to give because they're just very, very stuck in their day to day. And that is the biggest challenge. Trying to carve a little part of their day just to talk about something that's not even potentially relevant.
Yeah. So I guess how do you go about that? Are you someone who, goes about it in terms of volume? Do you do like creative things? Like, I know lots of SDRs are quite heavy on calling. Some are heavy on like being really personalized and writing like crazy LinkedIn messages with GIFs and stuff. Like, what do you do to stand out?
There's no right answer to how you. I mean, what being a good SDR slash BDR slash salesperson is, right? You find your own flow. Of course, there's structure, but there's no right answer. People have such different styles that all work. But what I would say is, you gotta change it up.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta keep yourself, up to date knowledge wise. But yeah, you just gotta change it up because you gotta change up your call patterns. You gotta change up your script a little. You gotta tweak your emails a little. You gotta tweak your messaging a little.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you yourself will get burnt out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I think that's the main thing.
100%.
But
yeah.
when you change it up as well, you're constantly iterating. You're constantly developing. Right, your messaging gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
But it's also for yourself as well.
Yeah, because I'd say that's probably one of the main challenges of being in tech sales, especially like an entry level role, is it can be quite monotonous, like quite same after same every day after day. But I guess if you change it up, it makes it a lot more manageable, a lot more achievable, and results probably go better. That's cool. And I guess where do you see yourself going in the next couple of years? Like, do you see yourself staying in sales? Are you going to pivot into other things? Like, that's the beautiful thing about like an SDR role. You can come in, build your personal brand, understand the clients, the culture, the software you're selling, and then move into either customer success, stay in sales, or go down the marketing route. But you're in a tech company, you're in the tech industry. You can pretty much go anywhere if you do the SDR role for 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself developing and going?
No, that is the beautiful thing about being an SDR in a tech firm. You can go anywhere in the business, and there's so many avenues to go down. But what I think I would be doing potentially soon is becoming an account executive myself.
Nice.
So as an SDR, you facilitate these initial conversations, you make the cold calls, and as an AE, you funnel that all the way down to when they sign the contract, right? And when you get in the meat of things is actually when you can talk about the technology in a much deeper sense, and that's where I want to be. I wanted to talk about the technology further below the surface.
Yeah, 100%. And also that's where the commission checks are. So
For sure.
the big money's in account executives. So that's really cool. And I guess what advice would you give to someone looking to break in, like someone graduating university or coming out of another job? Like, what advice would you give to them about the SDR job, but also just to break in the first place?
Of course, depends on their background, but I think in general, advice for interviews or advice for the job itself, would you say?
I guess both. First interviews and then once you're in the job.
Yeah. Advice for interviews, just keep at it, really, and you'll get a break. I definitely got my break.
Yeah.
But keep at it. Make sure within the interview itself that you're comfortable to do a mock cold call. That's going to be the main differential. I think they're going to hire somebody that, can cold call if they had a choice, right?
Yeah.
If the recruiter honestly depends on the company. This is a very big generalization, but if they had two people who didn't know the tech at all, but who knew how to cold call and who's very coachable, then that's going to be the person that they're going to go for. I think coachability and being able to, be on the phones.
Yeah, good stuff. And how did you, I guess, get in through Xurrent? Because I know you had quite a few interviews with other companies. It's quite normal to have 20, 30. I even had probably about 50 plus, maybe 100 applications before I broke into the industry, and maybe about 20 interviews before that, before I got my break. So it does take patience, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did you find that interview process at Xurrent? Was it like a 3-step process? How did it
go? Yeah, it took me a while as well, at least 10, 20 interviews. But with Xurrent itself, honestly, it was not as tough as I thought it was. I know this is not the answer that you expected, but sometimes you just do sort of get lucky.
Yeah.
They found someone that kind of fit their profile exactly, which, luckily was someone like myself. I wasn't super experienced with cold calling back then, but they were able to overlook that because I guess I was able to show my drive and my coachability, and I did a lot about the product before the interview. I researched a lot about the product, and I understood what the product was, you know, why it was, you know, so disruptive in the industry. Doing my due diligence.
Yeah.
And within the interview process itself, the interview process wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. You know, some of my other interviews were 10 times more difficult just because, you know, I had to do the cold calling part. I had to do the mock part.
Yeah.
But this time around, it was less emphasized on that. And they were like, you know, we can teach you how to cold call.
Yeah.
Which they did.
Yeah. And sometimes you meet like great people that you just connect with and vibe with, and
that too.
They actually trust that you're going to work hard for them and repay that faith that they give you, right? So
100%.
That's a big part of it. So yeah, if you're listening in, guys, or watching this, do your research for tech interviews. It's so important. Hiring managers, you know, I speak with hiring managers on a weekly basis, and a lot of them say, you know, the biggest problem is people just blind applying or applying to a role and just wanting to join any tech company. If you're joining an interview, make sure you've researched the company, the product, the clients, the culture, the values, and go deep. Like 3 reasons why specifically you'd be a good fit or want to work for them. So that's my take. Good stuff. And I guess advice for an international student, if you want to go there, because obviously it is sometimes tough to get, you know, roles because some companies won't sponsor. But I guess if you have 2 or 1 year, you know, they're going to give you that chance and shot. How did you find navigating that?
As an international student, you get 2 years at a university to work. And after that 2 years, you've either got to be sponsored or you've got to be this or that. And my advice is, say, make the most out of those 2 years. And at university, just apply whilst you're at university, and make sure outside of university, you know, you waste no time at all.
Yeah.
Where within those 2 years, if you're in a great company and you really, really show your worth, then, you know, that sponsorship is going to be on the table.
Yeah.
Because most international students will go down the traditional path of, you know, accounting, you know, the big institutions, because they have the facilities to sponsor, because they have a very standard process, right? But in the tech world, it's not a standard process at all. But at the end of the day, they're all people, right? And you can talk to people.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great point. And I guess just from my side, going completely off topic, want to know about Vietnam as well. Like, as a destination, I keep seeing it now on my Instagram reels. It's like such an in vogue place to go for, like, on the tourism side. Is there a tech scene there as well? And like, you know, do you recommend it as a travel destination in terms of like the food, travel?
Well, travel destination, 100%. Tech world there, I'm not so sure of.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't know much about it.
Yeah.
But travel destination, 100%.
Yeah.
But if you're doing Vietnam as well, you might as well do this entire Southeast Asia, right?
Yeah.
Because every country in Southeast Asia it's just so different. It's so unique from one another. You may think Vietnam and Thailand are similar, but they're not at all.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on. And I guess, where can people find you? On LinkedIn or?
Yeah, totally. LinkedIn.
Yeah. Good stuff. I'll link it below. But yeah, massive thank you for coming on. I think there's a lot of value shared there, and looking forward to catching off camera as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, mate.